اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم افتح علينا بفتوح العارفين، فقهنا في الدين وعلمنا التأويل واهدنا إلى سواء السبيل. اللهم ارزقنا يا ربي فهم النبيين وحفظ المرسلين والهام الملائكة المقربين في عافيته يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم زدنا علما نافعا وعملا صالحا قلبا خاشعا ورزقا حلالا طيبا واسعا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أغننا بالعلم وزينا بالحلم وأكرمنا بالتقوى جملنا بالعافية يا أرحم الراحمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم يا عظيم السلطان قديم الإحسان دائما نعم كثير وجود يا واسع العطاء يا خافي اللطف يا جميل سني حليم لا يجل صلي ربي على سيدنا محمد وآله وسلم وارضى عن صحابته أجمعين. اللهم لك الحمد شكرا ولك المن فضلا أنت ربنا حقا نحن عبيدك رقا أن لم تزال ذلك أهل يوم يسير كل عسير ويا جابر كل كسيها صاحب كل فريق مقدم كل فقير مقوي كل ضعيف مأمن كل مخيف يسر علينا كل عسير تسير وعسير عليك يسير. اللهم يا من يحتاج إلى بيان تفسير حاجاتنا كثير تعالم بها خبير وبصير. اللهم إني أخاف منك وأخاف ممن يخاف منك وأخاف ممن لا يخاف منك. اللهم بحق من يخاف منك نجنا مما لا يخاف منك. اللهم بحق سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وحرسنا بعينك التي لا تنام وكلفنا بكنفك الذي لا يرام وارحمنا بقدرتك علينا ولا نهل ما ثقتنا ورجاؤنا. اللهم إنا نسألك الزيادة في الدين وبركة في العمر وصحة في الجسد وسعادة في الرزق وتوبة قبل الموت شهادة عند الموت مغفرة بعد الموت وعفا عند الحساب أمان من العذاب نصيبا من الجنة وارزقنا النظر إلى وجهك الكريم صلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Qala Imam Abdullah bin Alwi Al-Haddad fi kitabi Risalatul Mudzakarah ma'al ikhwanil muhibbin min ahlil khair wad din wa nafa'ana bi wa bi ulumihi fid dharain amin radhiyallahu ankum. Page 33. The four obstacles to obedience. Point number 2, weakness of faith. Weakness of faith is an abominable affliction and a blameworthy attribute from which many blameworthy things arise, such as neglecting to act on one's knowledge, disregarding the enjoining of good and forbidding of evil, harboring hopes for forgiveness without striving for it, worrying about provision, fearing people, and other undesirable character traits. A person's observance of God's commands and prohibitions is proportionate to the strength of his faith. The most obvious proof of a person's weakness in faith is his neglect of injunctions and commitment to contraventions. Therefore, every believer should strive to strengthen his faith, and there are 3 ways to do so. The first is to listen mindfully to the verses of Quran and prophetic traditions that mention the promises of reward, threats of punishment, tidings of the hereafter, stories of the prophets, what miracles they were confirmed with, and what happened to their opponents. The detachment from the world and yearning for the hereafter which the virtuous predecessors possessed, and other things handed down. The second is to observe the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, the wondrous signs and beautiful creatures they contain, with an eye receptive to the signs and teachings inherent within them. The third is to persevere in acts of goodness and guard oneself from falling into sin and contravention, for faith is both words and deeds, and as such increases with obedience and diminishes with sins. All these that we have mentioned increases faith and strengthens certitude, and God is the helper.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala sayyidina Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi man wala. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. La hi anta maqsudi ridhaka matlubi atini muhabbataka wa ma'rifatak. Now we are at the topic of the 4 obstacles to obedience. Last week we have talked about ignorance. One of the obstacles to obedience is ignorance. Therefore, a person needs to learn, study what is wajib upon him, the fardu ain, about the creed, aqidah, and also ahkamul Islam, fiqh, and also tasawwuf, to get rid of all the vices and bad attributes from his heart and adorn himself with good attributes in his heart. And these are through knowledge, seeking knowledge from ahlul ilm, from the people of knowledge, whose sanad goes back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As what the ulama said, al-ilmu yu'khadhu min afwahir rijal. Knowledge is taken from the tongue of the scholars. So therefore, you need to take from their tongue, where their tongue, they when say something, it comes from their heart, and it is what Allah Azza wa Jal put inside their heart to His tongue to reach us, so that we are able to increase our knowledge, our amal, our iman, and our yaqeen to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Now the second obstacle to obedience, which is di'aful iman, weakness of iman. The iman is weak. The iman is weak. So weak is opposite of strong. So a person who has strong iman, then he will be a person who will always obey Allah Azza wa Jal and abstain from all the prohibitions. Al-Imam Abdullah bin Ali al-Haddad, he said, وَأَمَّا ضِعْفُ الْإِيمَانِ فَهُوَ بَلِيَّةٌ عَظِيمَةٌ. Weakness of faith is an abominable affliction, or in another word, it is the biggest bala. Bala yang agung. Weakness of faith. So a person who is afflicted with weakness of faith, there is bala. There is a biggest bala for him. So he has to bring himself out from this bala, save himself from this bala, from this affliction. وَخَصْلَةٌ ذَمِيمَةٌ, and a blameworthy attribute. Khaslatun dhamima, blameworthy attribute, iaitu satu sifat yang blameworthy, not good, very bad. Why is that so? Why is it a blameworthy attribute? Because from it, which many blameworthy things arise. Tansha anha umur madhmubah. From it, from the weakness of faith, arises many blameworthy attributes, blameworthy character, bad character. It all comes from the weakness of iman. Like for example, mithal or mithlu tarkul amal bil ilm, neglecting to act on one's knowledge. He knows, but he doesn't want to act upon it. He knows it, doesn't want to act. Nowadays, knowledge you can get everywhere, anywhere, at any time. At any time, anywhere you can get it. But because of weakness of iman, because when we study, we do not put in good intention that we want to earn the ridha of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it leads to weakness of iman. Therefore, one of the blameworthy things is to neglect to act on one's knowledge. Like for example, dhikrullah is one of the good acts of ibadah, you leave it. Or Qiyamul Layl, you know that Qiyamul Layl is the Sharaful Mu'min. Sharaful Mu'min, Qiyamul Layl. Meaning, the Mu'min is honored by Allah Azza wa Jal, or the honorable among you, the most respected among the Mu'mins, is the one who wakes up at night and pray to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Wa'izul mu'min, and also the high rank of a mu'min also, that he will be loved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, istighna anin nas, where he doesn't depend on people. He doesn't ask from people, where he asks everything directly from Allah Azza wa Jal. Allah is the provider. So this is what Imam Al-Haddad said, weakness of iman is a big bala, big affliction, blameworthy attribute, which many blameworthy things arises, such as neglecting to act on one's knowledge. Tarkul amal bil ilm. Therefore, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ashaddun nas adaban yawm al-qiyamah alim lam yanfa'u Allahu bi ilmi." The worst torment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give in the day of judgment is the alim, the one who has ilm, who has knowledge, but his knowledge doesn't give benefit to him at all. He doesn't act upon his knowledge. He doesn't benefit to himself. And also, what more, if he doesn't benefit to himself, how can he benefit to other people? Whereby in the day of judgment, those who have knowledge and doesn't act upon the knowledge, they will be thrown in the hellfire, they will be thrown in Jahannam, and Allah subhanahu Muhammad will be thrown in Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will burn them to the extent that their stomach and their intestine will burst out, and there will come a very pungent smell, where the people of the hellfire will be affected by it. And the people of the hellfire will ask, why are you here? Didn't you are the one who tell us to do goodness? Didn't you are the one who tell us to stay away from the prohibitions of Allah Azza wa Jal? Then the person said, yes, but when I tell people to do goodness, I myself don't do it. When I tell people to leave the prohibitions of Allah, I myself do it. Because of why? Because of da'ful iman, weakness of iman. So therefore we need to strengthen our iman. Jaddidu imanakum. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Jaddidu imanakum. Strengthen your iman. Renew your iman. Kaifa nujaddidu imanana ya Rasulullah? How do we renew our iman ya Rasulullah? Bikathrati qawli la ilaha illallah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you strengthen your iman, you renew your iman by making a lot, abundance of zikir kalimat la ilaha illallah. That is how we strengthen our iman. That's the first one. Tarkul amal bil ilm, neglecting to act one's knowledge. Number two, tarkul amr ma'ruf bil ma'ruf wa nahyu anil munkar, neglecting to act on one's knowledge, disregarding the enjoining of good and forbidding of evil. Disregard enjoining of good and forbidding of evil. Doesn't care about amal ma'ruf, nahi munkar. Doesn't care at all. Because of weakness of iman. Parents at home doesn't care about the children, whether the children cover their aurat or doesn't cover their aurat, doesn't care. Weakness of iman. How can you let your children kashful aurat? How can you let your children to expose their aurat? How can you let other people who are not mahram to see their aurat? It's a sign of weakness of iman. We as parents, we want to save our children from the hellfire in akhirat. If there's a fire in the dunya, definitely we will save them. We do not want them to be burned in the fire in the dunya. What more in akhirat? The more you have to protect your children in akhirat is by to make sure that you do the enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. But because of weakness of iman, you don't care. It's okay. They don't cover their aurat. It's okay. They go out with their non-mahram. It's okay. Or they come back home very late at night without knowing their whereabouts. It's okay. Everything okay. That you doesn't even care to ask where did they go, or whether they had prayed, or whether they have read the Quran. Everything. There's no enjoining of goodness and forbidding of the evil inside the house. As I today, nowadays, there's so many social problems, so many family problems inside the house because of this, because of weakness of iman, because of not enjoining good and forbidding the evil. And if you don't start from young, then it will be very, very difficult for us to bring them back to the path of Allah. But it's not impossible, of course. It's not impossible. Everything is in the power of Allah Azza wa Jal. Make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If Allah soften the hearts of the servants, Allah can do anything He wished. So this is one of the signs of weakness of iman. So if you see that when we see something which is wrong and we just keep quiet, it's a sign of weakness of iman. But when we want to talk about it, we want to enjoining good and forbidding evil. Of course, by not saying it in a harsh manner, saying it with nafs, by doing it in the most gentle manner, in the best manner. That is how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had taught us. So these are the things. These are the things that arises from weakness of iman, and also forbidding of evil, harboring hopes for forgiveness. Weakness of iman. You don't amal, you don't do anything, but you hope that Allah forgive you. You don't do your prayer, you hope for forgiveness of Allah. Then how can you hope for that if you do not work for it? If you do not strive to earn the forgiveness of Allah, you will earn the forgiveness of Allah. If you don't strive, you will not get it. So harboring hopes for forgiveness without striving for it, impossible. Wal amani fil maghfirah bila sa'yun laha wal ihtimam bil rizq Worrying about provision. Worrying about rizki. Worry. MashaAllah. To the extent that shak to Allah Azza wa Jal. Why Allah doesn't give me rizki? Why Allah like that? Why Allah astaghfirullah al-azim? From the moment when you are born in this world until today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you sustenance non-stop. And just for 1 month, for example, you got no work, then you are worrying about your provision. Then after that, you are complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whereas even though you are not working also, Allah is still feeding you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still protecting you. Subhanallah. How can we worry about our provisions? Go and find another work, for example. Inshallah, Allah will give you. But even we don't have work also, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still give you provision. But still we have to find a work, find a job to work, so that we can earn something. And work for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also is an ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wal-ihtimam bil-rizq. Wa khawful khalq. Fearing people. Fear people. Scared. You fear here, fear there, fear people. But you doesn't fear Allah. You fear people, but you don't fear Allah Azza wa Jal. You fear people might talk about you, but you don't fear that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might get angry with you. For example, alhamdulillah, we want to change for the better. So we want to do our prayer at home. But at home, no one is praying, except we, for example. We fear to pray at home because why? Later, my family members will laugh at me. Fear of khalq. Don't fear of khalq. Do whatever is right. Do whatever it is right. Do whatever it is right. Inshallah, by you doing the prayer at home, and when your family members look that you are praying, inshallah, they will also follow suit. That is how you do it. So you don't fear people. You only fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you have to get it, we have to understand it right. Not meaning fear, not fearing, we don't fear people, that means we can do harm to other people. It's not like that, of course. This is not the meaning of it. Fearing people means if you want to do a goodness, you fear people might look at you, people might despise you, people might look down on you. You fear of that. Or if you want to forbid evil, you fear that people might dislike you. That is called about fearing people. And also other undesirable character traits from weakness of iman. When you see something which is haram, you don't care about it. All these are undesirable character traits. People have the shame inside the heart is being taken out because of di'ful iman, because of weakness of iman. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-haya min al-iman. Al-haya min al-iman. Malu itu. Oh, it's called malu in English. Shame, is it? It's part of iman. It's min al-iman. Idha lam tastahi fasna' ma shit. Another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, if you do not have any shame, any chastity, do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Because this shame, this marua, is part of our iman. Like for example, sabr min al-iman. Nabi SAW said, as-sabru min al-iman. Patience also is from iman. When you have patience, that means there's iman inside your heart. An-nazafatu min al-iman. Cleanliness is also from iman. So a mu'min must keep himself clean, zahir wa batin. It is a sign of iman. Therefore, if a person who has weakness in iman, his iman is very weak, he will not have patience. He doesn't care about his cleanliness, zahir wa batin. He doesn't care about his chastity, or he doesn't care about other people, anyone who does haram, and he is capable of correcting it, he just keep quiet. No, he doesn't care. This is not right. Especially those who are inside our household. We must make sure that everything is in order. We must make sure that our children are learning the religion. We must make sure that we also, as parents, also learning the religion. Not only our children. You want your children to be alim, you need to be a salih man or salihah. You don't expect your children to be alim or alima, but you yourself doesn't want to correct yourself. You yourself continue to indulge in things which is haram. Wal-'iyadhu billah min zalik. And these haram things, forbidden things, it decrease and decrease. It keep reducing your iman bit by bit, bit by bit, bit by bit, without you realizing it. Without you realizing it. This is the dangerous part of it. For example, this person used to pray Salatul Jama'ah, never leave Salatul Jama'ah, abadan, not even one Salat also. He will pray Jama'ah, because he knows the benefits of Salatul Jama'ah. You know, like sheep, what do you call it? A group of sheep in English? Flock of sheep. They will move in one flock. They don't move alone because they fear that there's a wolf that might eat them. The predator will take them. But if you move in a group, the chances of the predator to catch you, to take you, or to eat you, it will be lesser. This is like Salatul Jama'ah. You pray Salatul Jama'ah, the shaitan will have difficulty to make waswas on you. It's very difficult for shaitan to enter inside your heart because you are with a jama'ah. Yes, it's been said, Yadullah alal jama'ah. The power of Allah is on jama'ah. It's upon in congregants. When you are in a jama'ah, you are saved. If you are always alone, you are not saved. If you are always alone, then shaitan will come and catch you. But if you are in a jama'ah, you live to Salatul Jama'ah, take the opportunity. Alhamdulillah, mosques are open now. Salatul Jama'ah, whether in the mosque or at home. Do not leave Salatul Jama'ah. Whether Salatul Jama'ah or you're studying in Jama'ah, or you have a group where your friends encourage one another in doing Jama'ah, in doing goodness and forbidding evil, then don't leave it. Because when we are alone, our iman will be weak. When we are in a group, our iman is stronger. This is what has been taught by our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wa alihi wasallam. A person's observance of God's command. And the next one, وعلى قدر الإيمان العبد يكون امتثال الأمر واجتناب النهي. A person's observance of God's command and prohibition is proportionate to the strength of his faith. How do you keep your salat? Now, if you are someone who keeps your 5 prayers a day properly, all the 5 prayers you pray on time, it's a sign of strength of iman. Now, if you are someone where you discipline yourself from the time you wake up until you go back to sleep, you fill up all your time with good things, it's a sign of strength of iman. But if you are someone who pray one day 2 times or 3 times, or always late for prayers, or you are lazy in reading your Quran, lazy in Salah al-Nabi Muhammad SAW, lazy in making zikr to Allah, or lazy in attending Majlis Ilm, it's a sign where your iman is weak also. Then, if we know that our iman is weak, don't let your iman gets weaker and weaker. You have to change. You have to get it stronger. You have to wake up. You have to stand up. After that, work for it. Strive for it. Change yourself. Allah will not change you except you want to change yourself. If you want to change yourself, then Allah will change you. So the most obvious proof of a person's weakness in faith is his neglect of injunction and commitments to contraventions. This is the sign also of ضعف الإيمان. تركه للموافقة وارتكابه للمخالفة. Now, it's a sign of weakness of iman. If he loves to do ma'asiyat, it's a sign of weakness of iman. Youngsters, teenagers, if their iman are not weak, they will get involved in zina. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنْ ذَلِكَ. It's a sign of a weakness of iman to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Doesn't know the difference between haram and halal. La ilaha illallah Rasulullah. So you have to be careful about this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "An-nikah sunnati, faman raghiba an sunnati falaysa minni." An-nikah is from my sunnah. Anyone who doesn't take my sunnah, they are not from me. That mean not from me means you are not a complete ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You're still the ummah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but you don't follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a complete manner. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, "Ya ma'ashara shabab, oh young people, if you are unable to get married, then fast. Then lower your gaze, because these two things will reduce your shahwat. These two things will weaken your nerves, will weaken your lower desire. So you have to follow the commandments or the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If not, if you don't follow these two things that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, then youngsters will get involved in these maksiat, and your iman will get weaker and weaker and weaker. And what more if you are further and further and further from the scholars and from the salihin, from the good people, then where do you get that strength of iman from? Where do you get the booster? Where do you charge your iman? Like for example, your phone also gets weak. You simply use your phone and your battery doesn't reduce in power. The same thing as your iman also. We are exposed to so many things out there. If you do not charge it with dhikr, la ilaha illallah, if you don't charge it with attending the gathering of knowledge, if you don't charge it with reading of Quran, if you don't charge it, the super charge of the fast charging of Qiyamul Layl, then how do you strengthen your iman? So you need all this. You need all these booster, all these minerals, all these vitamins for our iman. Now, so therefore Imam al-Haddad he said, wal umur allati yaqwa biha al-iman wa yazid thalatha. So today he gives us three things that we should do to increase our iman. Every believer should strive to strengthen his faith, and there are three ways to do so. Imam al-Haddad he summarized it into three things. But if you were to expand it from these three things, you need one volume. So he is someone who is knowledgeable. He is able to summarize it. So we read the summary, inshallah. May Allah expand our understanding in it, and we understood it fully. Inshallah, we are able to make amal, and we are able to increase our iman. First one, ayasghi bisam'ihi ila al-ayati wal akhbar allati fiha dhikrul wa'di wal wa'i wal umur al-akhirah. That's the first one. The first one is to listen mindfully to the verses of the Quran, understanding it, and also the prophetic tradition, hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, that mention the promises of reward. That mention the promises of reward. Why? When you listen to that, the promises of reward, why? It will move your heart to do amal. When the Prophet ﷺ said, if you read this zikr, this dua, you will earn this reward, it will increase, or it will give you the zeal to do that amal. That's why Nabi ﷺ always mentioned about this. If you do this amal, you will earn this. Do amal, earn this. Because he knows that his ummah has weak iman. You need to remind them with rewards. Like small children. You must tell them, you do this, I will give you one lollipop. Or one sweet. Like small children. But people who taragi, people who keep on getting closer and closer and closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, in the end, he doesn't want to do anything just to earn the reward from Allah. He just want to do ibadah to earn the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first thing is to listen to the verses of the Quran and the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that mention the promises of reward. That's the first thing. Threats of punishment, number two. So that we avoid all the punishment. Because we are reminded in the Quran, we are reminded from the words of Prophet ﷺ. Tidings of the hereafter, number three. Listen to all the verses of the Quran, hadith, or tidings of the hereafter, stories of the prophets. How the prophets have patience. What miracles they were confirmed with. Miracles that come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What happened to their opponents? What happened to their opponents? What happened to the opponents of Nabi Lut alayhi salam? Think of it. What happened to them? They won the battle with Nabi Lut? Or they were destroyed by Allah Azza wa Jal. Think about it. Go and open the Quran and read it. What happened to the people of Lut? What happened to the people of Saleh? What happened to the people of Noah? Who opposed the prophets, alayhi salatu wasalam. This is in the Holy Quran. All of them were swept off, wiped out one time. Because of the burden, the sin that they had committed on earth. So these are reminders. These are reminders, big reminders from the Holy Quran, from Kalamullah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not something that for us to play around with verses of the Quran and we read it and after we understand on our own understanding and we change and twist the verses of the Holy Quran, and because we want to follow our nafs, our desire, we change and twist the verses of the Holy Quran and we understand it differently, and after that we are astray and we bring other people astray from the path of Allah. Na'uzubillah min zalik. Because the stories of the prophets are obvious. The prophets called them to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They rejected him. They continue with their transgressions and they were destroyed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what's the purpose of us reading these verses of the Quran? To remind ourselves, to remind our family, not to be like them. These are reminders. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Kalla innaha tadhkira. Know that these are tadhkira, reminders. Fadhakir inna fa'ati dhikra. Give them reminders, because reminders will benefit them. Therefore, in the Holy Quran, there are reminders. Keep reminding us. Because if you are not reminded, then shaitan and nafs will overpower us. Therefore, Imam al-Haddad said, if you need to be reminded from the Holy Quran, from the verses Quran, from the traditions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the kalam of ulama, so that our iman will not be weak. We are always reminded, and inshallah our iman will keep increasing and increasing and increasing until we meet Allah. And know that on the day of judgment, when you want to pass the bridge, when you want to pass the sirat, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the sirat is more tiny than one strand of hair, but sharper than the sword. That's how is sirat, the bridge that we are going to cross, and below it there's Jahannam, and across it there will be paradise of Allah Azza wa Jal. How fast you are going to cross it, it depends on the Nurul Iman, the light of Iman. If your Iman is weak, it takes thousands of years to cross it. Na'uzubillah min zalik. If your Iman is strong, and you keep striving and keep increasing your Iman day by day, every day there's increase in Iman. That's how a mu'min should be. Every day your Iman keep increasing. Then inshallah on the day of judgment, you will cross the bridge faster than the lightning. This is what we ask from Allah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that, but we have to work for that, of course. When we make dua, Ya Allah, make us among those who are able to pass the sirat faster than the lightning. But that dua, how do you know Allah accept that dua? When you see yourself improve in doing the commandments of Allah, you see yourself abstaining from the prohibitions of Allah, then that dua is a sign that Allah had already accepted your dua. Then what miracles they were confirmed with, like for example Nabi Allah Isa alayhi salam, he was given the miracle of curing a blind man, or giving life to the dead with the permission of Allah, with the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabi Musa alayhi salam, his stick changed to turn into snake, and it wiped off all the sihr of Fir'aun, to show the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we read all these stories, when we know about all these mu'jizat of all the prophets alayhimu salatu wasalam, it increased our iman, it increased our belief in the prophets, it increased our love to the prophets. When we love the prophet more, definitely we love Allah more. When we love Allah Azza wa Jal, then automatically our hearts are connected to the prophets, and our hearts are connected to the awliya wa salihin. What miracles they were confirmed? What happened to their opinion? The detachment from the world, yearning for the hereafter, which the virtuous predecessor possessed. Yearning for the hereafter, mashallah, which the Salafus Saleh, virtuous predecessor possessed. They strive to do ibadah. Al-Habib Abu Bakr bin Muhammad As-Saggaf, rahimahullah ta'ala, who passed away in Gresik in the year of 1957, 17 of Dhul Hijjah, rahimahullah ta'ala, nafa'ana bih. At a very young age, at the age of 9 years old or lesser than that, he has started to do his Qiyamul Layl every night, where his grandmother will wake him up and he will do Qiyamul Layl every night, rahimahullah ta'ala, at the age of 9 years old. You see how these virtuous predecessors, they are trained at a very young age. Like, some people, they want their children to be, like, for example, Olympic runners or Olympic jumpers. Is there such a thing? Olympic, whatever, Olympic, or footballer, or whatever it is. From young, you have to train. From young, you have to train. You have to go to a sports school 1 day, 6 hours, 8 hours, you play sport. Macam badminton, 6 hours, until to the extent that when you grow big, you are expert in badminton. You can close your eyes and you may play badminton. Like this. So that's how expert they are. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, nothing wrong with that. In sports, okay. But you don't leave the commandments of Allah and do prohibitions of Allah Azza wa Jalla. If you are keen in sports, tafaddal. But the Salafus Salih, the virtuous predecessor, at that young age, they are trained already. 3 o'clock in the morning, you have to be at your sajadah and do your prayer. At the young age. So that when you reach the age of baligh, no problem. 2 hours, 3 hours of Qiyamul Layl, no problem, because it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. But nowadays, look at our house. What happened to our house? Our house are dead. Even Salatul Isha also, sometimes, don't pray also. Some family members doesn't even pray also Salatul Isha. At the end of the day, pray without praying Salatul Isha. And after that, next morning also, Subuh also, doesn't wake up. Or wake up late, or pray alone, or subhanallah, astaghfirullah azim. We don't possess even 1% of what the virtuous predecessor possess. We are more interested in the people of dunya, what they possess. We are interested in it rather than what the Salafus Salih possessed. Whereas we should want to be like the Salafus Salih, the virtuous predecessor, the ulama, awliya Allah, how they strive in the way of Allah. I want to try to be like them. In their reading Quran, in their wirid, in their learning, in their amal, in how they make da'wah, and so on and so forth. Rather than we are, chasing the dunya. La ilaha illallah. Astaghfirullah al-azim. Now, these are what Imam al-Haddad said, the causes of weakness of iman. This is why, because you don't listen to this Quran verses, hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, stories of the virtuous predecessor. You do not know about the reality of it, everything. What we know in this dunya is always about the worldly things. We memorize so many names, footballer names, for example, but we are unable to memorize the ulama names or the prophets. Even 25 prophets also, we cannot memorize it. Or even we asked to name 10 angels also, we are unable to memorize it. Astaghfirullah azim. You see how bad a person can be if they remain themselves in ignorance. Wal-'iyadhu billah min zalik. And other things handed down. The second is to observe the kingdom of the heavens and earth. The second one, ayanzuru bi'ayn al-istibsar wal-istidlal ila malakuti samawati wal-ard. To observe the kingdom of the heaven and earth. Look at the sky and say tasbih subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this. Glory to Allah Azza wa Jal. Look at the earth. How big is the earth? Subhanallah. And you're not even one dot. Subhanallah. Just imagine. This is the creation of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatest, created all this. Subhanallah. And He observed everything in you. Everything. Every single thing. Inside, our body. There are so many urat, so many, Allah, I don't know what they call your intestine and so on. How does the food goes inside it? How does vitamin C strengthen your immune system? How does this vitamin give you strength in this? How does this? Everything is from the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The calcium, how does it go to your bone, go to your teeth? Subhanallah. And it happens to every single person on earth. With everything is under the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One remote saja. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is to observe the kingdom of Allah, the heaven and the earth, so that you will increase your iman, so that you will know the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Beautiful creatures they contain, with an eye receptive to the signs and teaching inherent within them. The third is to persevere in acts of goodness. Ayuwaziba ala al-amal bis-salihat. Persevere. Act of goodness. Guard oneself from falling into sin and contravention. Persevere in doing amal salih. You persevere in doing amal salih, your iman keep increasing, inshallah. Persevere in abstaining from all haram. Guard yourself from falling into sin. Jaga diri from falling into sin. Like how today we guard ourselves from getting the virus using mask, using face shield. You have to guard yourself from falling into sin also. Now, for faith is both words and deeds, and as such increases with obedience and diminishes with sins. This is the thing. All these what we have mentioned increase faith and strengthen certitude. And Allah is the helper. Wallahu al-musta'an. May Allah help us. Ameen ya Rabbal Alamin. Wallahu alam. So we will stop here, inshallah. We'll open for questions. Any questions? Tafaddal, you can ask via WhatsApp. Through Allah's wisdom, we were created with different capabilities. Some of us don't really have the capability to do much ibadah as compared to the people of orang-orang saleh who do more worship, praying whole night, doing a lot of sunnah with more sincerity. Is it possible for us to still enter the highest possible Jannah? Would it be hypocritical to ask Allah to grant it in spite the little ibadah? Even though we do a little ibadah to Allah Azza wa Jal, not as much as the people of the awliya Allah. They are able to do the whole night of Qiyamul Layl. But don't even leave at least 2 rak'ahs of Qiyamul Layl. 2 rak'ahs only. Don't do one whole night of Qiyamul Layl if you are unable to do it, because we are weak servants of Allah. But don't leave at least 2 rak'ahs. We can ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give the highest Jannah. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not hypocrite to ask Allah. As long as you are sincere, Allah looks at your heart. There are servants of Allah who doesn't do much ibadah, but they are granted the highest paradise of Allah Azza wa Jal. If you are sincere and you know your shortcomings, you are better off than people who do more ibadah, but inside their heart there's ujub, that they feel that they are better than other people. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looks at our heart, correct our hearts. When you correct your hearts, when you have this sincerity and good intention, Allah Azza wa Jalla will give you the strength to increase your ta'at, your good deeds, and bit by bit all the sins will diminish. Sedikit demi sedikit, insyaAllah. Okay. Is it considered as mengumpat if we spread videos on ministers tersasu while making speech, or opinions of one person yang tak suka this candidate so he share his weakness online? Example, okay. Naam, mengumpat dosa. Mengumpat dan dosa. Naam. Full stop. Of course, mengumpat tu nama dia. Because you know what is the meaning of mengumpat? What is the meaning of backbiting? Is when you talk bad about someone behind his back. Behind his back, and he gets to know about it, he will feel unhappy about it. So it's mengumpat, it's dosa, of course. Okay, so don't spread all these kind of things. Any advice for a couple who wishes to pray jama'ah but unable to due to having children, they are still young, that need someone to attend to? If you are able to do ibadah, even if you have children, you can put them aside for a while. If the baby, can put them for a while, or carry them while you are praying. After you change their pampers, their diapers, then do your ibadah, do your jama'ah together. If you are still unable to do so, like make intention. I really cannot do so because, for example, you have so many kids, nobody is attending to, and you need to take turns. Then do it, take turns, pray alone, and make the intention that may Allah ease your affairs so that you are able to do ibadah with your spouse. Yeah. I found a partner, he's nice, started going out, he knows my family accepted him with an open heart. I met his family once or twice, but it wasn't that much talk, as the mom would always talk and look down on him. Ustad, we both wanted to get tunang as a form of ikatan. However, when the mom came over to my place and talked to my family, when the mom come over to and talked to my family, she lashed out all her angerness and all. He said his son is not mature, low IQ, unable to this and that, and want him to have at least 10k before even proceeding to anything. Mom believed that his son is not able to make any decision of anything. Mom also said that if ever he comes to my house, we are to lock and chase him away. I understand his mom love him. Wah, ni dah macam sandiwara panjang betul. Masya Allah panjang. I understand his mom love him and wants the best for him. And so we were just wondering, mom said I'm not allowed. Okay, gerbuk. Mom also said because his low pay, he's unable to stabilize anything. But Ustad, he always help my family, he help others. Mom accused him of not giving monthly money after meeting me, okay? But he does give his money and he even swear upon the Quran. When he spoke to his sister, his family said he is not ready. Okay, I'm just afraid that we won't get restu from his mom and akan dibuang. His mother always said she mengandung him 9 months, he doesn't appreciate her at all. Mom believe that hidup senang baru. What is the best advice you can give, as we would like to halalkan our hubungan? Asking on behalf of someone. Alah tu. Macam cerita lah kau. Okay, baik. So, now, first and foremost, kesian. What you can do? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Lakukan semayang hajat. Semayang hajat. Okay, buat semayang hajat. Minta kepada Allah Azza wa Jal. Nabi SAW, when Nabi SAW has something which is important in his life, which he wants to get an answer from Allah, he will make his wudu, perfect his wudu, and pray 2 rak'ats. Pray 2 rak'at and ask Allah Azza wa Jal what is best in this situation. You do not know what is best for you, but Allah knows what is best for you. Maybe you want to halalkan this hubungan, but you do not know what will happen to you in the future. Allahu a'lam bisawab. We do not know anything about this. So the best thing is Salatul Hajat. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give you a way out from this. What we can do is Salat Sunat Hajat. The best is to do it at night. Okay? During Qiyamul Lail time. That would be the best at 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Wake up at night. Salat Hajat. And recite Suratul Ikhlas 11 times every rakaat. Suratul Fatiha, Al-Ikhlas 11 times. Rakaat kedua also same thing. And last rakaat, during the sujud time, you ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to forgive your sins. You thank Allah for all the nikmat that Allah gave you. And after that, ask Allah to bring you out from this difficulty. Continue to do it, inshallah. Allah will give you the answer, inshallah. What is best? So we must take note. We do not know what is best for us, but Allah knows what is best for us, so ask Him. May Allah give us the best, inshallah. Yeah. And at the same time, continue to strengthen your iman. That is the most important thing. Continue to learn, continue to do amal, continue to refrain from all prohibition. If you have been going out together, or doing ma'asiyat, then you're asking for trouble. Then there will be more difficulty in the future. Yeah. Is it okay if someone wants Allah ridha and at the same time they hurt others without realizing it? Cannot. That one cannot. You want Allah ridha, you cannot hurt other people. Without realizing it, then that person must tell him that you are hurting me. You said as parents we should always remind our kids, but sometimes we train them when they are young, but when they grow up, they want to be independent. To the extent some don't wish to use the hijab. Sometimes parents, we reminded them, but they become upset and tell us to give them space. How do we deal with it? First and foremost, make dua to Allah. That Allah give them hidayah, give them tawfiq to use to use hijab. Number two, never ever any parent say anything bad to their parents, to their children. Sorry, don't say anything bad to your children. Don't ever say that ni anakku susah nak jaga, menyusahkan orang dan sebagainya. Don't say all this. Don't sumpah anak dan sebagainya. Haram hukum dia. Don't do that. Clear? If they want space, okay, give space. But at the same time, make dua for them. Because the Prophet promised sallallahu alaihi wasallam that dua of parents will be accepted by Allah. Inshallah, maybe not now, but later on, definitely Allah will answer your prayer. Definitely 100%. Because Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam never lie. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the dua of parents will be accepted. Nabi never lie. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You must yakin in that. So continue to make dua for them and never ever say anything bad about them. And after that, bit by bit, advise them. Bit by bit, you have to, don't every time when you meet them, you pakai tudung. Meet them pakai tudung. Dia nak keluar daripada belakang, you dah standby. Nak keluar je, zoom ni masukkan gitu. Ikat gitu. Cannot, do like that. You have to be with hikmah. Do it with wisdom, insyaAllah. Clear? Okay, confidence and arrogance. What is the difference? Arrogance, you look down on people. That is arrogance. Confidence, you have confidence that Allah Azza wa Jalla will help you. That is the difference. Confidence and arrogance. Okay. How do we advise someone who is losing faith in the religion because of their life struggle? It makes them question where Allah. You must teach them tawheed. You must teach them akidah. If someone is losing their religion, tawheed, must teach them tawheed. You must tell them about the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, may Allah help them, inshallah. Okay, wallahu alam bisawab. We will stop here, inshallah. Wallahu alam. Mudah-mudahan Allah give us tawfiq, inshallah. May Allah always strengthen our iman. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from all balaya, from all waba. And may Allah protect us from all the prohibitions of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And may Allah, inshallah, put us all together, inshallah, in the day of judgment in Jannah to Firdausil A'la, in the highest of paradise. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور
الذي خلق 7 سماوات طباقا ما ترى في خلق الرحمن من تفاوت فارجع البصر هل ترى من فتور ثم ارجع البصر كرتين ينقلب إليك البصر خاسئا وهو حسير ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين وأعتدنا لهم عذاب السعير وللذين كفروا بربهم عذاب جهنم وبئس المصير إذا ألقوا فيها سمعوا لها شهيقا وهي تفور تكاد تميز من الغيظ كلما ألقي فيها فوج سألهم خزنتها ألم يأتيكم نذير قالوا بلى قد جاءنا نذير فكذبنا وقلنا ما نزل الله من شيء إن أنتم إلا في ضلال كبير وقالوا لو كنا نسمع ونعقل ما كنا في أصحاب السعير فاعترفوا بذنبهم فسحقا لأصحاب السعير إن الذين يخشون ربهم بالغيب لهم مغفرة وأجر كبير وأسروا قولكم أو اجهروا به إنه عليم بذات الصدور ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير هو الذي جعل لكم الأرض ذلولا فامشوا في مناكبها وكلوا من رزقه وإليه النشور أمنتم من في السماء أن يخسف بكم الأرض فإذا هي تمور أم أمنتم من في السماء أن يرسل عليكم حاصبا فستعلمون كيف نذير ولقد كذب الذين من قبلهم فكيف كان نكير أولم يروا إلى الطير فوقهم صافات ويقبضن ما يمسكهن إلا الرحمن إنه بكل شيء بصير أمن هذا الذي هو جند لكم ينصركم من دون الرحمن إن الكافرون إلا في غرور أمن هذا
هذا الذي يرزقكم إن أمسك رزقه بل لجوا في عتو
ونفور
أفمن يمشي مكبا على
وجهه
أهدى من يمشي سويا على صراط مستقيم قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون قل هو الذي ذرأكم في الأرض وإليه تحشرون ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين قل إنما العلم عند الله وإنما أنا نذير مبين فلما رأوا زلفة سيئت وجوه الذين كفروا وقيل هذا الذي كنتم به تدعون قل أرأيتم إن أهلكني الله ومن معي أو رحمنا فمن يجير الكافرين من عذاب أليم قل هو الرحمن آمنا به وعليه توكلنا فستعلمون من هو في ضلال مبين قل أرأيتم إن أصبح ماؤكم غورا فمن يأتيكم بماء معين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا ربنا اعترفنا بأننا اعترفنا وأننا أسرفنا على لظى أشرفنا فتب علينا توبة تغسل كل حوبة واستر لنا العورات وآمن روعاتي واغفر لوالدينا ربي ومولودينا والأهل والإخوان وسائر خلان وكل ذي محبة أو جيرة أو صحبة والمسلمين أجمع آمين ربي فاسمع فضلا وجودا منا لا باكتساب منا بالمصطفى الرسول نحظى بكل سولي سلم ربي عليه عد الحب وآله وصحبه عدادة شي صحبي والحمد لله في البر والتناهي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.